While some lawmakers set up roadblocks, there's a growing group of lawmakers trying to break through the partisan gridlock. Congressman Peter Welch, Democrat from Vermont, and Congressman Cory Gardner, Republican from Colorado, among some 82 lawmakers, at least by one count, joining the bipartisan group called No Labels. Congressman, good to see you. And I'll start with you, Congressman Gardner. You know, we've had gangs of, 6, 8, 12, you name it. Many fall apart. Yours is what some might call a super gang, over 80 members. How is your group's approach different this time around?
We know Peter and I are part of the organization No Labels, problem solvers, if you're following us on Twitter, putting together an agenda of 9 bipartisan bills that really can move this country forward. Everything from how we're handling procurement issues to energy efficiency, something that Congressman Welch and I are working on together. We braved the scorching heat last week in Washington to unveil the agenda, and now I think we're actually going to take those words and turn them into action, because this is more than just simply saying this is what we're going to do. This is about actually getting it done.
No Labels, as you have self-named yourself recently, as you were saying, put out those 9 different bills called Make Government Work. And I'll just list several of them that are on that list, including getting rid of duplicate agencies and programs, stopping automatic year-to-year budget increases, and moving to a 2-year budget process here. And again, that's just some of the 9 that are out there at the moment. So, Representative Gardner, why these 9, and how are you going to get this done different than other groups have?
Well, I think it's recognition that while we have arguments over spending and have arguments over what to do on the economy or the environment, that there are areas of common ground. And I said at the announcement that common ground leadership leads to common sense solutions. And that's what these 9 bills represent.
Representative Welch, go ahead.
We're at stall speed here in Congress, and we're not talking to one another. And Cory and I both come out of state legislatures where we were dealing with Republicans and Democrats, dealing with people we disagreed with. And Cory and I disagree on a lot of top-line issues. But if you're going to be a politician and a legislator that's going to move America ahead, you have to also find where you do agree. And if we agree on 50%, but we agree on 50, let's move ahead. And the thing that we're both hearing from people we represent is, why don't you guys get together and get something done? You know, when I was Senate President in Vermont, we had a 23-7 majority of Democrats, and I appointed 3 Republicans to chair committees. It had nothing to do with being, quote, a good guy. It had to do with a recognition that you had to have everybody at the table in order to get a solution that would move you ahead. Not perfection, but progress.
You know, Representative Welch, few would argue with your intent here at all. If you can get 9 done, folks will take it. And if you can get 82 representatives, 82 lawmakers to agree, few would argue with that. But when you look at, you've been around for almost 3 years, I think, and when you look at some of the legislative achievements and key ones that are out there in front of us, like immigration, the Farm Bill, the Grand Bargain, those have not necessarily been issues that you've been involved in. Some might ask, where's the meat when it comes to No Labels?
Well, actually, the problem is in the House, we haven't been able to do anything on a bipartisan basis. And the accomplishments you just mentioned, the Senate has managed to make some progress this year, and it has been on a bipartisan basis. And what we're understanding is, again, Cory and I disagree on a lot of things, but we both feel a common responsibility to find where do we agree and make progress on that. We're having a tough time breaking down the partisan barriers to progress in the House.
Representative Gardner, so how will you break down those barriers, and how we start to tackle some of those really big issues I was talking about?
Well, I think it starts with a lot of the work that we're doing. We're talking about budget reform. Every time I go to a town meeting, somebody brings up a point that says, hey, how come Washington just says that we're not going to count any of the spending that you did last year into this year's budget? It's the only place in America where a decrease in the rate of increase is a cut. And so recognition of that very problem within the package of 9 bills that we have, our bill that would save taxpayers $5 billion, creating private sector jobs, getting America back to work and making our buildings more efficient, energy efficient at the federal level, those are good things. And we take these victories, these steps, and we can translate it into major victories for the American people.
Well, and a lot of Americans are hoping that the 2 of you can get it done, at No Labels and its energy is successful going forward. Thank you both, Congressman Cory Gardner and Peter Welch of Legislative Super Gang, I like to call No Labels. Appreciate your time today.